going to speak about the backhand volley. How to play the backhand volley. There are a few things that are very important that you have to know about the backhand volley, such as where do I play the backhand volley, when you play to the fence, when you play to the middle, very important things. What is the goal of the backhand volley? What do you use for the backhand volley? So you're going to use slice, or are you going to play your backhand volley flat? And then at the end we're going to talk about the technique of the backhand volley. What does the swing of the backhand volley look like? Welcome to Padel Tips. I would like to know, before we start the video, is your backhand volley better than your forehand volley, or your forehand volley better than your backhand volley? My backhand volley is better than my forehand volley, and I noticed that most of the paddle players have a better backhand volley than forehand volley. The goal of the backhand volley is to not score the point. You don't want to win the point with the backhand volley. The goal is to build up the point so you get an easy smash, or to keep the ball in play and hold the net position. Never try to score with your backhand volley. That's not possible. You can only score with the drop shot or with the smash. Where to play the volley? It really depends if you play on the right or on the left, how high you hit the ball, and where you are positioned on the court. Are you far from the net? Are you close to the net? Those are all the ingredients that you need to make a decision. Are you in your position, or are you going towards a position? All those things tell you where you should play the volley. I recommend to think of one or two things to make your decision, and at the end it will become more natural. Like the ball is high, I play to the fence, for instance. Do you play on the right or do you play on the left? If you play on the right and you are right-handed, you will get most backhand volleys in the center, and if you are left-handed, you will get most of your backhand volleys to the outside, same as on the backhand side. That also means if you're playing on the right and you're right-handed, that you play slightly softer than your partner on the left that can play more aggressive. When you play in the center, it is quite hard to play cross-court in the angle, so then you rather play cross-courts straight. If you play on the right and you're left-handed, then you can play the angle to the fence way more than you can when you're right-handed on the right. The position you have on the court is key to where you're going to play the volleys, because if you're further away from the net, then it's better to play cross courts, because the ball is underway for a longer time and you can go closer to the net. So you have to think about where do I am on the court. If you're very close to the net, you have a lot of options. You can also play it boom out of the court if you're very close to the net. Don't play difficult when you're further away from the net. You can play more difficult shot when you get closer to the net, but be aware, you can also get lobbed. The height of the contact point is also one of the most important things to think about when you're going to play the angle. Because if your contact point is low, you have to lift up the ball, and then playing to the corner can be quite difficult, because the ball will tend to bounce against the side wall instead of to the ground. If you have a very low contact point, you could play it super slicey with a drop shot. That's impossible when it's high. When you have a high contact point, you can also choose to go more to the sidewall or to the fence. And I highly recommend to play to the fence more often. And we're going to show you that the technique is also slightly different when you're playing to the fence and when you play a deep angle. So the result of the ball depends how your technique should look like. So you're not practicing a backhand technique, you're practicing a swing that matches with the target that you have to aim on. So if you play to the fence, your technique is way different than when you play to the center. And that's super important to know. If you are a coach, never tell the technique, but tell the goal of the shot and where to play the ball. So the decision making is more important than the technique. It also depends on the qualities of your opponents, because if one opponent is goed and one opponent is bra, then you play to the goed player, because then you win all of your matches. So sometimes it can be as easy as that. When you have a low contact point, it's also better to slow down. You cannot play that fast. So if you are with speed management, the higher you hit, the faster you can hit without making a mistake. The height of the contact point is also crucial in depending what kind of speed you play. Because if your contact point is low, you can never play fast. So then go closer to the net or hit the ball higher and then you can play fast. Yes, but it's not always better to play fast. But if you talk about speed management, you have more options when the contact point is high and less when the contact point is low. Are you moving to a position or are you already in position? So if I'm already positioned here, I can do everything. If I have to move to a target to get that backhand volley, I don't want to play an angle. Super crucial. We talked about this a few times in the videos, but it's one of the most common mistakes that I see on the court from beginner to advanced players level. So when we speak about technique of the volley, what is different is that you already turn your body slightly more. So some players tend to have a better backhand volley than forehand volley because when they have a backhand volley, they automatically turn. And when they have a forehand volley, they might be like this. A reason that you don't have a very good backhand volley might be that you're playing everything in the forehand grip and then you don't switch to your backhand, to your continental grip. And that means is that with the forehand grip, you can have an amazing forehand volley. You can also play with slice with your forehand volley. I don't recommend it, but it's possible. But it's not possible when you have it here. Because now my wrist is on this side. I have zero control. So I highly recommend to hold it in the continental grip. Yeah, because sometimes when you have it in your forehand grip, also this happens. I know, if you know somebody that does this, let me know in the comments below. They are doing this and this. This is complicated because now you see the racket is going up and the ball will go up. So it's better, continental grip, backhand, forehand. Also very important, when the ball is coming, prepare with both hands because now my body is turning, you see? If I am with one hand prepared, I will stay with my shoulders towards the opponent and then I will play the ball from high to low. If I turn my body, I will have a more horizontal movement that makes the ball go way lower. And that's the most important thing, the lowness of the ball. I don't know if that is a word, but the lowness of the ball is the most important aspect of your backhand volley. It's not about the speed, it's about how low can you get the ball. If the ball is low enough, they can never ever lob you and you will hold in that position for 2 hours and you never lose a point again. I also recommend to keep the top of the racket facing a little bit higher. You don't want to be absolutely here. So now my wrist is not doing that much and it's kind of relaxed. With your volleys you want to have a kind of a tense wrist because otherwise you might lose mistakes. So this is one of the few shots where you do have to pressure your grip sometimes, especially when you block the volley and want to play like a block volley. If the ball is slow, you can do more. So when the ball is coming, prepare your racket, if possible, higher than the ball. The higher the ball, the higher your preparation. So there is no one-size-fits-all answer to the backhand volley, but if the ball is higher than the net, you can prepare higher than the ball. If the ball is super low, then you just have to do this. So what I see a lot of times with the backhand volley is that people do like this. They go from high, low, high. But if you do that, the ball will go up. And maybe you don't notice that so much, but your ball is not going to accelerate after the bounce. The main goal of your backhand volley is that it shoots through. So it bounces and it stays low and it's like going. And if you do this, the ball will have a lot of slice, but it slows down. And your opponent can have a coffee, 3 bagels, and then can play the ball back. So you need to pressure your opponent by doing the lowness of the ball high and end lower. So you always go from high to low, if the ball is higher than the net. If the ball is lower than the net, then you want to just block it and don't lift up the ball, because then you give a high contact point to your opponent and they will kill you. So then it's better to play a shorter volley or a stop volley. The shortness of the preparation is also very important. So I do loads of drills where I have my student against the back wall, so they cannot make a very big swing. If you have a very big backswing, you're probably going to play too fast. If you have a short backswing, you can play more slice, because the slice is in the hand, it's not in the swing. I highly recommend also to use rackets that are not super top heavy. So you have to be careful with diamond shaped rackets, because then you might drop the racket too much and you cannot keep this preparation. Some players go more from here, that's fine. I think it really depends on where you're playing. If you're playing more against the fence, you can get a more higher and a more straight racket preparation. And if you want to play slightly more straight down the line, your preparation goes more like this. So this really depends on the height of the contact point. Higher contact point, straighter stance. Lower contact point, like this. My head is key for the balance. So if my head is in front of my feet, a lot of control. Ready position. Prepare higher than the ball, if the ball is higher than the net. And then do that. So the ball is coming. Turn. You can also step slightly. Turn. Hit. Try to step and hit at the same moment, or step later than you hit, because then all parts of your body go towards one direction where you want to play. Ball is coming. Hit. And then hold your position forward, because you want your body to go there. When you play the angle, higher preparation there. So then my left hand will go up more and my right hand will be lower. So angle there, deep, or straight there. So this straight, angle there. So the technique is way different. Also keep your preparation slowly, slow, tack. If the ball is fast, don't step in, that is enough. You just block the ball. If you want to hit the ball cross courts, hit the ball early. If you want to hit the ball straight, hit late. That rhymes. So the earlier you hit, the more cross the ball will go. So when you want to play with your backhand volley towards the fence, you want to hit the ball very far forward to make the angle. Because making an angle from here is impossible. From here is quite easy. Thank you everybody for watching. I hope you liked this video. If you want to see more videos like this, let me know in the comments below. If you want to recommend any video that you would like to see, let me know in the comments below. Ask me anything, I will answer everything. Okay, hasta luego, ciao, adios.